Just give, and I think that's players across the league and like new fans across the country. Like everyone's like, what is going on with the refs? And I'm like, I don't know. And you finding me $500 is not going to do shit.
Fuck yeah, that was a bar. That's a shirt.
Hot girls like to be fined.
Finding me $500 won't do shit. That's sick.
And then I'll get fined for that, and then I'll get fined for this, and then the fines continue. Yeah.
The corporate gatekeepers operating behind the scenes of women's basketball didn't just make a miscalculation tonight. They triggered a full-scale nuclear explosion within their own institutional ranks in a shock move that has sent terrifying shock waves straight through the league's front offices in New York. The WNBA Players Union officially stepped in with an unprecedented hammer drop against one of the most vocal fan-favorite athletes in the game, Sophie Cunningham. Union leadership formally issued a harsh condemnation, labeling her recent public statements as strictly derogatory, levying a massive financial fine and attempting to pull her commercial licensing rights in a desperate bid to erase her platform entirely. But what union officials thought would be a swift, quiet execution of administrative authority has officially turned into the most spectacular, embarrassing backfire in modern sports history. To fully comprehend the sheer level of panic currently paralyzing the union's executive board, you have to look at what started this high-stakes administrative war in the first place. Sophie Cunningham has never been an athlete who falls in line or reads off a sanitized PR-approved corporate script. Known across the country for her unfiltered honesty, raw competitive grit, and unwavering willingness to speak truth to power, she stepped directly up to the microphone and exposed the hidden hypocrisies festering behind closed doors. She didn't hold back. She called out the blatant double standards, the selective enforcement of player conduct policies, and the toxic political favoritism being executed by union leadership to protect a small favored group of legacy stars at the direct expense of everyone else. Her words didn't just rattle the cage, they threatened the entire artificial hierarchy that union executives spent years carefully constructing. Instead of addressing her valid criticisms or opening an honest dialogue about player rights and equal representation, the executive board panicked. In a heated emergency session held behind closed doors, union leadership decided to flex their legal muscle in the most aggressive way possible. They drafted an immediate public rebuke, categorizing her opinions as harmful and derogatory to the collective brand. They moved to cancel existing merchandise licenses, strip her name from key union commercial deals, and slap her with a heavy fine meant to force immediate submission.
With Sophie Cunningham. I want to do the pointing meme with Sophie Cunningham. She's a superstar. She's a sensation. She went viral. I want to do the pointing meme. I want to do the pointing meme. And then the WNBA Players Association and their goofballs step right up. Darren Ravel, a highly respected sports business journalist, someone who's worked at ESPN, someone who has over 1 million followers on Twitter, a name that should be taken seriously, comes out and says the WNBA Players Association is currently prohibiting licensees from using the Sophie point, saying that it is derogatory. They're saying a point is derogatory. Well, you know what? I one-upped them. And I said, not only is it derogatory, but it just exudes white privilege. I'm literally shaking, folks.
The corporate strategy was glaringly obvious. Make an absolute example out of her. They wanted to send a cold, chilling message to every other player in the locker room that speaking out against the status quo would result in swift financial and professional ruin. The union board assumed that faced with heavy monetary penalties and the loss of licensing revenue, she would fold, issue a scripted public apology, and fall back into line like so many before her. They relied on traditional corporate intimidation tactics that have worked for decades to keep athletes quiet and obedient under the thumb of bureaucracy. But union leadership made one fatal catastrophic mistake. They completely misjudged who they were dealing with. Sophie Cunningham didn't back down. She didn't issue an apology. And she certainly didn't stay quiet. Instead of crushing her spirit, the union's aggressive attack sparked an instantaneous nationwide public revolt.
Says what everyone else is thinking or talking about, not just with the refs,
Did you post that
but with
after
Detroit,
after you guys lost?
with Cleveland. I want people to hear what I just said. I am the only one, but if you ask our league, they feel the same exact way.
The league feels the same way about the refs as you?
And Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah. Damn, those cities are gonna fucking fucking hate you.
No, like they already do. I met someone. I was just at the Cubs and White Sox game.
Yeah.
Literally 2 nights ago, and this guy came and like, well, he goes, "Are you Sophie?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'm from Detroit." I was like, "Oh, I heard it's beautiful."
So,
What?
I bet people shit on Kansas City all the time, though.
Yeah, we have some of the best barbecue hands down the whole country. Like, I'm sure there's so many gyms, and I'm sure the people are amazing in those cities. I don't think people are fully understanding what we were talking about. And
Do
so
you want to
now,
give it one more shot?
no, because
Okay.
I said what I had to say.
Dude, go off.
And I'm not going to apologize because I fully believe that. Don't tell me that Detroit is more fun than...
Within minutes of the news leaking to the media, the internet blew up into an absolute firestorm. Millions of fans, already exhausted by corporate censorship, virtue signaling executives, and sanitized sports media spin, immediately rallied behind Cunningham as a symbol of unyielding authenticity and courage. The backfire was immediate, brutal, and historic. Social media platforms were completely flooded with outrage targeted directly at the union's leadership. Fans launched massive viral campaigns demanding the immediate resignation of the board members who signed off on the penalty. Instead of her merchandise being erased from store shelves, third-party fan created gear bearing her name and quotes exploded across digital storefronts, generating massive sales that completely dwarf official union metrics. The fine that was supposed to underscore her influence ended up turning her into a global hero standing tall against corporate overreach and administrative tyranny.
Yeah. And this is what the WNBPA is mad about, man. They are salty, they are jealous, and they look for they try to take the fun out of everything when it includes Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham or anybody closely associated to Caitlin Clark, because they have that much hate, that much bitterness, that much jealousy. WNBPA showing once again while they're a joke, but it's not stopping Caitlin Clark from achieving greatness. Now, shout out to Papa Todd on YouTube once again. He spoke about this Sandy Brondello situation, and this is more so a microcosm of how people are being turned off from the league, and the league is doing everything it can to kill itself. It's poor leadership from Kathy Engelbert. This whole Angel Reese Sandy Brondello thing is disgusting. Sandy Brondello has been involved with the WNBA for nearly 2 decades or something. I don't know, but she's never been associated with anything racist or racist. You know, the fact that they're trying to paint this picture on her and Angel Reese essentially doubled down on it.
Mainstream sports media networks that normally rush to defend corporate institutions found themselves trapped in an impossible position. Sports anchors and debate shows were forced to cover the story live on national television, admitting that the union had severely overstepped its bounds. Prominent analysts openly pointed out the absurd double standard. While legacy stars could make aggressive, controversial statements without facing a single dime in penalties, a player speaking out against unfair treatment was instantly slapped with a total commercial ban. The hypocrisy was so blatant that even neutral commentators couldn't defend the union's actions. Behind closed doors, the situation is devolving into absolute chaos for league sponsors and commercial partners. Major corporate sponsors who pour millions into union licensing deals are now terrified of being associated with a board that actively censors its own players.
Smarter than 50 years of sports business, Darren Ravel is telling the truth. Leagues and unions have been long forbidden using derogatory NIL. The most popular NBA student example of this is the Reggie Miller choke and crotch grab. There she is, Helen of Troy. There she is, Helen of Troy, Sophie Cunningham herself. They generally do not know how to run a marketing campaign. Folks, when I first saw this, I was like, dude, who is this troll? Who is this troll? But then I looked at the source and I was like, oh, this is a real source. This isn't some Joe Schmo. This is a real source. A real source. Is this real? Mick, this is real. It sounds crazy, but it's real. If it's real, we've seriously lost the plot. Yeah, WNBA delivers denial of Sophie Cunningham's pointing meme. You got sports, you got Yahoo Sports reporting this. You got Sporting News reporting this. Again, do you know what Yahoo Sports and Sporting News is doing before reporting this themselves? Before they write an article themselves, do you know what they're doing?
Internal leaks reveal that key corporate representatives have called emergency meetings with union heads, demanding answers as to why an administrative fight is destroying consumer trust and damaging brand reputation. The commercial machine built by the union is beginning to fracture under the weight of its own arrogance. The fallout inside the locker rooms is even more disastrous for the union. Other players across the league, seeing the overwhelming support from the public, are beginning to break their silence. What started as one athlete standing up for her beliefs has ignited a widespread locker room mutiny. Active players are openly questioning where their union dues are actually going and why their elected representatives are using collective power to fight against individual players rather than fighting for better conditions, higher pay, and fair treatment across the board.
Yeah. And so I grabbed her by the neck, but I was calm, cool, and collected.
No.
Like, I knew, but I was like, if you're going to do something to her, then do it.
And you got tossed?
And it was 2-on-1. Yeah, I got tossed.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we're good. Who else in the... I say WNBA, I know you say W. Talks about who like shits on refs besides you?
I think I'm really the only one who publicly is a massive shitter on refs.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome.
But my thing is, like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I am someone who says what everyone else is thinking or talking about, not just with the refs.
Did you post
but
that
with
after
Detroit,
after you guys lost?
with Cleveland? I want people to hear what I just said. I am the only one, but if you ask our league, they feel the same exact way.
The league feels the same way about the refs as you?
And Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah. Damn, those cities are gonna fucking hate you.
No, like, they already do. I met someone, I was just at the Cubs and White Sox game.
Yeah.
Literally 2 nights ago.
The gatekeepers have officially lost control of the narrative, and there is no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. The union thought they held all the power because they owned the legal contracts and the licensing infrastructure. But in the modern digital era, true power resides with the fans and the authenticity of the athlete. You cannot regulate real voice through corporate committees. And you cannot censor an athlete whose platform is backed by millions of passionate fans who see right through the corporate spin. This massive scandal marks the permanent end of an era where sports unions and front offices could quietly silence dissenting voices behind legal jargon and closed-door fines. The line in the sand has been drawn deeper than ever before. The old guard's authority is shattered. Their tactics have been exposed on a global stage, and the crown of public support has been seized by an athlete who refused to bend the knee to institutional pressure. What is your raw, unfiltered reaction to the Players' Union attempting to fine and ban Sophie Cunningham? Did the union permanently ruin its credibility by trying to silence her? Or is this the start of a total player revolution against corporate overreach?
Gray called her the N-word. Okay, and let's just get this out of the way front and center. Racism and all this garbage should not be tolerated, right? You do your own thing on your own time, but don't go on these public outlets and whatever. It's just stupid. But anyway, and so they basically once again accuse all Caitlin Clark fans of being racist, which they've done over and over and over again, and it's never panned out. Right? Not once has it panned out where there's been tagged with a Caitlin Clark fan. And I keep saying it over and over. In today's day and age, if somebody's in a sports arena and they're belching out racist garbage, they're going to get escorted out. There's going to be 100 videos of it, and they've never found any of this. So this guy, this Chelsea Gray situation, turns out he was a better, and I think somebody said, and I can't verify this, but I happen to believe it because because I trust the guys that are saying it. Turns out this guy's a Paige Beckers fan.
And drop your thoughts in the comments section below right now. Let's start an absolute riot down in the comments section. Smash that like button until it breaks. Hit subscribe with all notifications turned completely on so you never miss another explosive breakdown. And share this video with every single real fan who demands the absolute truth. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the very next history-shattering corporate gatekeepers.